Every single day, there is a voice you hear more than any other. It's not your partner, your boss, or your friends, it's your own. And what you say to yourself shapes the entire course of your life. Most people walk through life completely unaware of how damaging their inner dialogue has become. You make a mistake, and your instinct is to say, "I'm so stupid." You look in the mirror and automatically notice the flaws. You set a goal and immediately think, "I probably won't achieve it." These words, spoken in silence, carry more weight than you imagine. They plant seeds in your mind, and those seeds grow into beliefs. Those beliefs become patterns, and those patterns shape your outcomes. This isn't about positive thinking, it's about mental architecture. You are literally building the structure of your reality through the words you speak to yourself. And if those words are rooted in self-doubt, your reality will reflect it. But what happens if you become intentional with that voice? What changes when you decide to speak to yourself with clarity, with respect, and with certainty? You begin to move differently. You stop waiting for others to validate you. You stop chasing permission to dream bigger. You realize the only approval that ever truly mattered was your own. And that approval starts with language. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for everything. Want to attract love, success, peace, abundance? Start by becoming fluent in the language of belief, because what you repeat becomes a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes your life. The shift begins the moment you take control of the voice you've allowed to run wild for years. No one else can do that for you. But once you do, everything around you begins to respond differently. Speak as if you matter, because you do. Speak as if your words are the foundation of your future, because they are. Speak as if you're already becoming the person you admire, because you're closer than you think. Every word you say to yourself carries a frequency. That frequency either expands you or contracts you. When you wake up and say, "This day will be difficult," your body tightens, your mind prepares for stress, and your energy field collapses into defense mode. But if you say, "I will face whatever comes with strength," your entire system aligns differently. Your chest opens, your thoughts become clearer, your steps more grounded. This isn't imagination, it's biology and energy. Your brain processes language and emotions together. What you say to yourself activates chemicals, releases hormones, and shifts your state. If you constantly repeat discouraging phrases, you're not just hurting your feelings, you're rewiring your nervous system to expect failure. But here's what most people never realize. You can rewire it in the opposite direction too. You can teach your body to feel safe in success, calm in growth, and confident in change. It all starts with how you speak to yourself in the moments when no one else is listening. Do you encourage or do you criticize? Do you trust or do you doubt? When you say, "I don't think I'm ready," your energy contracts and opportunities move away. But when you say, "I am learning and I am moving forward," your energy expands and invites more to flow in. The universe is not judging you, but it is responding to the signals you send. Your inner language is that signal. It's not about lying to yourself, it's about aligning with a higher truth, that you were never broken, only buried under layers of mental habits you didn't choose. When you shift your internal tone from fear to intention, your outer reality begins to reflect that new rhythm. People notice, opportunities appear, resistance fades, and it all begins with one decision: to make your inner voice your ally instead of your enemy. Speak like someone who believes in the life they want, because belief is energy, and energy attracts. To attract what you truly desire, you must learn to speak from the reality you are building, not the one you're trying to escape. That means replacing uncertainty with intention. Instead of saying, "I hope it works," say, "It is working." Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What can I learn if I do?" Your words frame your future. When you use language rooted in fear, you create barriers. But when you speak with clarity and conviction, you create movement. This doesn't mean denying problems or pretending to be perfect. It means choosing words that support the path you want to walk. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm unlucky, I'm always behind," or "nothing works for me," then you're reinforcing a version of yourself that stays stuck. But when you say, "I am open to solutions," or "I attract the right opportunities," your mind begins to search for proof that this is true. That's how transformation starts, not by force, but by frequency. Use present tense. Speak as if what you want is already arriving. I receive love with ease. I create value in everything I do. I trust my timing. These are not empty affirmations. They are instructions to your brain and signals to the field around you. When repeated with focus and emotion, they shape how you think, feel, and respond. It's not magic, it's alignment. You become someone who expects progress, sees possibilities, and recognizes abundance. And people feel that shift. They respond to it. Your confidence doesn't come from what you have, but from what you believe you're creating. Choose your language with intention. Speak not as someone waiting to be rescued, but as someone reclaiming their voice. Speak like a creator. Speak like a leader. Speak like someone who knows they are on the edge of something extraordinary. Because the words you choose today become the world you live in tomorrow. Not all negative self-talk is obvious. Some of the most damaging words are disguised as humor, modesty, or habit. You make a mistake and say, "Of course I messed that up, I always do." You receive a compliment and respond, "I don't know why. I didn't do anything special." These phrases may seem small, even harmless, but they carry the weight of repetition. Each time you diminish yourself, you reinforce a version of reality that keeps you stuck in limitation. Sarcasm directed at yourself is not just a joke, it's a declaration. Every phrase you use becomes a cue for your subconscious. And your subconscious doesn't understand irony. It hears tone, repetition, and certainty. So when you call yourself lazy, unlucky, or unworthy, even playfully, it listens and adjusts your emotions and behavior to match that identity. Self-sabotage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet refusal to acknowledge your progress. Sometimes it's the way you downplay your wins. You finally achieve something meaningful and tell yourself it was luck or that it wasn't enough. This subtle rejection of success teaches your mind that you are not safe in growth, and the result is energetic resistance. The more you repeat those internal patterns, the more life mirrors that belief back to you. Not because you're cursed, but because you're out of alignment with the version of you that receives with confidence. Change that alignment, and the world around you changes too. It starts with awareness. Begin noticing your automatic phrases. When you hear yourself saying, "I can't," stop and ask, is that true or is that a habit? Replace it. Say, "I'm learning," or "I'm improving." Words like these open doors that were previously locked by fear. Speak as someone who deserves progress, not as someone apologizing for even trying. Because every time you diminish your worth, you delay your desire. But when you speak with courage, your desires find their way back to you. You don't need hours of meditation or complex rituals to shift your mindset. What you need is 5 minutes of absolute presence directed inward every single day. Just 5 minutes to speak to yourself with clarity, conviction, and conscious intent. This simple practice can alter the course of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Start with a mirror, your voice recorder, or a blank notebook. And for those few minutes, speak only from the version of you who already lives the life you want. Not the person struggling to get there, but the one who already arrived. Say what they would say, think how they would think, feel what they would feel. You might begin by declaring, "I am focused, I am powerful, I move through this world with purpose." These aren't fantasies, they are verbal blueprints for transformation. The brain responds to language that feels emotionally charged. When you repeat empowering statements with feeling and consistency, you create new neural pathways. That means your thoughts start defaulting to confidence instead of fear. Your emotions lean toward resilience rather than hesitation, and your decisions reflect clarity instead of confusion. This is not about perfection, it's about repetition. Speak to yourself the way a mentor would, calm, certain, uplifting. The words don't have to be loud, they have to be true to the future you're claiming. Do this daily, even when it feels awkward, especially when it feels uncomfortable. Because that discomfort is the signal that you're disrupting an old identity. You are choosing new language, new tone, new outcomes. The 5-minute method works because it interrupts your autopilot and installs intention. It tells your mind what to believe and tells your body how to behave. It's not theory, it's practice. Speak to yourself with honor, not because you're trying to fake success, but because you're training your system to recognize it. You are not convincing yourself of something false. You are reminding yourself of who you were before the doubt, before the noise, and that version of you is still here, waiting to be spoken into existence. When you begin to change the way you speak to yourself, the world starts changing in ways you never expected. You begin noticing subtle shifts, how people react to you, how opportunities show up, how obstacles seem less intimidating. This isn't coincidence. It's the result of internal alignment. When your self-talk shifts from fear to certainty, your energy becomes magnetic. You no longer chase validation or force outcomes. Instead, you attract experiences that match the new standard you've set for yourself. You stop repeating, "I hope things get better," and start living from, "I am creating something better every day." That change in language transforms your posture, your tone, and your decisions. People feel the difference even if they can't explain it. They respond to your clarity, your grounded presence, your quiet conviction. You walk into rooms differently. You set boundaries without guilt. You take action without waiting for perfect timing. And as this becomes your norm, old patterns lose their grip. You no longer relate to the version of yourself that hesitated, apologized, or played small. You outgrow it naturally because you're now speaking the language of expansion, not survival. This is how momentum builds. It begins internally with your words, then echoes outward into your choices, habits, and relationships. What once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. You stop doubting whether good things can happen for you and start expecting them. This expectation isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You're no longer hoping to be chosen. You're choosing yourself daily through the way you speak, act, and believe, and life begins to match that decision. The quality of your self-talk becomes the ceiling or the foundation of what you allow in. Raise the language, and you raise your life. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about trusting that you are capable of shaping your reality through consistent, conscious words. The results will come, not because you forced them, but because you finally became someone who could receive them. Now is the moment to speak not from fear, doubt, or memory, but from certainty. You've spent too long narrating your life through the lens of limitation. That story ends here. From this moment forward, speak as the version of you who already lives the life you've imagined. The version who no longer asks, "Can I do this?" but instead declares, "This is who I am." Speak with authority. Speak with vision. Let your words become commands to your mind, not requests for approval. Say, "I am ready." Say, "I have everything I need." Say, "What I desire is already seeking me." These aren't affirmations to feel good. They are anchors, foundations, truths that pull you forward. Every time you speak like the person you want to become, you take one step closer to that reality. Your brain responds. Your decisions change. Your posture shifts. The room notices. This is embodiment, living as if you already are. And when you do, you collapse the distance between who you are and who you're becoming. That gap no longer exists because you're speaking from the finish line, not chasing it. Words are not just descriptions of your state, they are creators of your state. What you declare internally becomes the story that the world reflects back to you. Choose those declarations carefully. Don't wait for circumstances to give you permission to change your language. Use your language to reshape your circumstances. If you want abundance, speak abundance. If you want confidence, speak like someone who cannot be shaken. If you want love, speak to yourself with the tone of someone already loved. Stop rehearsing failure. Stop narrating struggle. Speak success as your starting point. Let your voice be the evidence that you already believe. Because when belief is spoken consistently, reality begins to form around it. You don't need to see the full path. Just speak the first step with conviction. And with every word that follows, your world will shift to match it. Speak it, live it, become it. If this content made sense to you, don't stop here. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content. Now watch this next video where I'll show you another essential step to transform your reality. I'll see you there.